Velkomin í hlaðvarp Hampfélagsins. Í þessu hlaðvarpi ætlum við að tala um það hvernig við getum unnið með móðir jörð í stað þess að vinna gegn henni og hvernig við getum gert okkur meira sjálfbærari með því að aðalega með því að vinna með plöntunni. Í dag með okkur Alicia Fall sem stofnandi Her Many Voices sem samfélagsverkefni í Bandaríkjunum þar sem frumbyggjum hjálpað til að hjálpa sér sjálfum. Viðtalið mun fara fram á ensku af því að Alicia ekki farin að læra íslensku en þá hún búin að vera hérna í einn dag held ég. Welcome to the podcast, Alicia.
Thank you very much, Sigi. It's a pleasure to be here.
I was just saying that we'll do this interview in English because your Icelandic is not up to par
yet. It's not so good, but yes, yeah.
So welcome to Iceland and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Can we start with maybe you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from and where you grew up and eventually how you became to be what you are today?
Yeah, I'm a born and raised New Yorker. I spent the first 30 years of my life there, and then I started going back and forth between New York and Colorado. And at the time, I was in the music industry, and I found myself doing a whole lot of benefit concerts towards the end of that career. And I thought, why not marry the artistic with the humanitarian world? And in 2009, I created Her Many Voices. And with that, the her making reference to Mother Earth, and the many voices, all of her children.
All right.
So not just us two-leggeds.
Okay.
You know. So I started working on behalf of women, children, and Mother Earth. And from there, I created the foundation. And that's what we've been doing for a number of years now.
Okay.
And I'm here because I'm on my way to Amsterdam to speak at the Amsterdam Climate Week.
All right.
And my topic is hemp and humanity.
Okay, great. Your music, what kind of music were you doing?
It's a little eclectic. It depended on what musicians I'm working with. Sometimes it's on the bluesy side, sometimes a little jazz, sometimes a little soft rock.
Okay.
So I'll make sure I send you a little sample of things.
Are you doing the singing or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. I haven't listened to it, so I'm curious now.
I haven't listened to it for a while either. So.
So you have two daughters?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. And they're both very much activists. My eldest, Melissa, she, for one thing, she is our arts educational director. She is a doula, and she's also a very strong activist for murdered and missing indigenous women. So I am Eastern Bansalagi, Cherokee, and Cuban Taino, and a mixed bag of other things.
Okay.
Both of my daughters are adopted. And Melissa has some Navajo in her and a little mix of others as well, other things. And then Shinoa, my youngest, she is Hopi Navajo. And she's another one who's an activist. She does a lot of work with indigenous youth.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's one of our board members.
All right. How many people are working with the foundation?
Oh, let's see. We probably have about maybe 12, 13 people. And then, lots of subcontractors and lots of volunteers.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so can you tell us a little bit more about Her Many Voices, about your projects, where you're doing them and how you do them?
So we provide practical education and resources for underserved communities, and predominantly within indigenous women's communities.
Okay.
In 2010, there was a massive earthquake in Haiti, and shortly after the quake, I met a woman who is Haitian and working within the educational system in rural areas there. And so I met Tamar Kantav is her name, shortly after the quake. And found myself saying, whatever it is that we can possibly do. And at the time, I felt like I'm just one solo musician. So what do you get to do, Alicia? Yeah. And it's pretty amazing what you as an individual get to do in this world and how you can have an impact. For me, I started looking at if you're on stage, you have that automatic audience and people pretty much listen to you.
Yeah.
So I returned home and started talking about the food insecurity as well as the housing. Obviously, 300,000 people lost their lives during that quake.
Yeah.
And more have happened since then. So Tamara and I focused within the women's groups. And originally it was about education for their children, as well as doing personal trainings for them and their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last 6 years or so, since I've done a lot of focus within the hemp industry, predominantly because I was looking at these folks in Haiti going, we can do so much better as far as their housing is concerned.
Yeah.
And as far as food is concerned.
Right.
There's just, as you know, there's just so much you can do with this plant medicine.
Absolutely.
Between food, shelter, the fact that it is medicine, clothing. And so the folks there have really kind of taken a shine to it. Now, hemp, industrial hemp, CBD, all of that, marijuana, is still illegal, quote unquote, in Haiti.
Really?
But we're meeting with everyone from top in the political structure to the small business person to the local farmer. And there is an interest in, and we've taken on the educational component of it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, are you familiar with Hanna Gabrielova out of Czech Republic?
No, not sure. No.
Hanna, she is wonderful about educating people, and she has a seeds company in the Czech Republic. Hanna came with us, and she did a little educational workshop. And we brought other people in from the States as well to Haiti to speak to people about these are the benefits. And the Haitian government follows the U.S. government.
Okay.
And since the U.S. has pretty much said, okay, you're good to go, it's just a matter of time. So, and they're very open to the fact that I can build a home that is going to be a lot more earthquake resistant than what we've ever used before.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it can move. The house can move with the earthquake. Yeah.
Yes. And they don't have to worry about things like pests and the mold and that sort of thing, especially with all of that humidity. So it really started there, but now we work with indigenous peoples within the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
And so my primary focus at this point is to create a hemp longhouse community. Are you familiar with longhouses?
Now you have to tell me about that.
So and this is basically a template because all tribal peoples, we all have our structures. Within the Salagi, within the Cherokee community, the longhouses were typically built with cedar long poles, and multiple families would come, they would live under the same rooftop, and they would take care of each other and the land. And for many of us today, we're recognizing we need to return to that. Right? We refer to this as indigenous wisdom for modern challenges. And I don't care where in the world you're from, we all come from that tribal background.
Yeah.
Our peoples came together, we took care of each other, we worked together. And so it's time to return to that, the simplicity of it.
Right. We had something similar in Iceland back in the days. People had this one house with fire in the middle where everybody gathered around. So it's pretty much like that, right?
Yes.
So many families living under one roof.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for us, we want to build this as a community. So the longhouse structure would be for education, to bring people in and to teach them anything from seed all the way to end product of this plant. And we've got a lot of interest from different communities.
So you talk about hemp, that you work with hemp. How did that come by? How did you start to, what happened so that you started to show interest in the hemp plant?
Well, at the time in particular, working in Haiti, recognizing there was one pivotal moment for me. I was standing in front of this home. A woman had raised her children there, 11 children, and it was nothing more than a shack of branches and leaves and cardboard and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just could not get over the fact that we can do better, so why not? No one should be in the situation of having to raise their children in this kind of environment. Anytime the winds came, the rains came, it affected them immediately.
Yeah.
And so I started thinking about what do we have resource-wise that would be the best for these communities, especially since they are so earthquake-prone there.
Yeah.
And then we always look at, food security.
Yeah.
Tamara and I, we founded a school in an area called Trushushu. And one of the foundations of the school, when we made this commitment, was the community has to come together and grow your own garden so you can feed your children and then take care of the community.
Sustainability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So looking at the experience that these folks were going through,
yeah.
I came back to the States and I started thinking, okay, what are the things we can do? Marijuana had just become legal in Colorado, where I live most of the time.
Okay.
And that didn't have so much of an interest for me, but once people started talking about industrial hemp, it really caught my attention.
Yeah.
And one of our now board members, Tami Nohulu, he's a Hawaiian Asian artist, he was involved in the community, in the Colorado community in the hemp industry, and he was managing a farm at the time.
Okay.
He introduced me to a couple of folks, and the first person being Eric McKee. Eric was building at the time a hemp structure, the Wonder Workshop, in his backyard in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And so I attended, and the moment I put my hands in this, literally, it spoke to me, and I thought, this is it.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, Eric, a few weeks later, joined us in Haiti.
Okay.
So that's where it really started. But since then, especially when you talk to indigenous peoples, we recognize the value of this plant. We recognize that the insanity of making a plant illegal and the impact of that.
Yeah.
So it's time for us all to claim it back.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you're doing your projects, you are working with hemp. I know you have some project in Colorado, right? And in New York?
Yes. So the two areas that we're focused on, I'm actively right now looking for land in the Hudson area of upstate New York.
Okay.
We have connections there. There's Hudson Carbon, Hudson Hemp, there's Churchtown Dairy. They're all involved in the hemp industry in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. And we've done some little partnering along the way. We're looking to expand that. And within that area, it's traditionally in that community, it was Mohawk people, the Asquesassne Nation. Not too far, we have the Penobscot tribe, which is in Maine, and there are a couple of other tribes in that area. Mm-hmm. My focus is really to bring in the indigenous community there. In Denver, it's a little different because it is the city environment. So you get a lot of people maybe not on a res, but people who still hold on to their community and their culture. Yeah. So it would be more of it's an urban area. So when we do these workshops, we get a mixed bag of people from different communities. Yeah.
Right. So your talk in Amsterdam, what's that going to be about?
I've got a few different talks. Yes.
Without ruining it.
Yeah. So the opening, I'm going to be on a panel with a couple of different folks, and Noam Chomsky is one of the gentlemen who said yes to this. So it's quite an honor because he is very much an icon for my generation. And we're just doing an opening on climate change, and there'll be a number of questions. I'm not quite sure what all they want to cover on that day. Mm-hmm. But then I will be speaking on hemp and humanity, and then I'll talk about the deforestation in Haiti. So I think they have me down for three talks.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're talking about hemp and environment, hemp and
hemp and humanity.
And right. Yeah.
So that really does cover a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
It's about social justice, environmental justice.
In your TED talk, you say that just by doing something, positive, you inspire other people to do the same.
Yeah, and people, we have a tendency of kind of shrinking ourselves and thinking, well, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the need is so big, so who am I?
Yeah.
And we can take these little actions. We don't have to be the big person on the big stage with the big microphone. You know, in the TED Talk, I speak on look into the eyes of the next person you meet.
Mm-hmm.
And truly ask someone, how are you?
Yeah.
Be present for that response, you know, because it can make a huge difference in someone's life. You don't know what someone is experiencing at that moment, and it could be a pivotal moment for them. Mm-hmm. So it's just that reconnecting with humanity on a small scale, which could have a huge impact.
Yeah.
So there are many different ways that we get to do this. We don't have to really go out there full force, you know.
Yeah. Contemplating.
Yes, start with your own backyard kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we talked about hemp in Iceland, about how we can grow it, how we can make how it catches the CO2 and I've even written a letter to the Prime Minister, because she's supposed to be a part of the Green Party in Iceland. Mm-hmm. We don't see much green what she's doing, but the party name is Green. Mm-hmm. But so I sent her a letter telling her how this could help Iceland. Just by growing hemp, we are making the air better and for everyone. What can you tell us about that? I mean, how is hemp so good?
Yeah, this is something that I always smile about, because here we have a plant. You know, we're always telling people, plant trees, we need our forests. You know, we're doing this deforestation in the Amazon and everywhere else. Yeah. And it is having a huge impact on us. And trees are wonderful at carbon sequestration. You know, it can really clean the air. It can clean the soil to a certain degree. But the reality is that tree is going to take anywhere from maybe 10 years to 150 years to really fully mature to do that work. Yeah. So we humans have been aggressively fighting against what the trees are doing naturally. Mm-hmm. Within hemp will grow between maybe 90 days, 120 days, full maturity, and it is going to carbon sequester 4 to 5 times greater than those trees.
Because it grows so fast. Yes. And it's working while it's growing.
Exactly. Yeah. And it also remediates the soil. Mm-hmm. We have plenty of places that have been so contaminated by all the pollutants that we put in our food and our soil. Yeah. And this is a perfect opportunity to help clean that up. Mm-hmm. Or spills of some sort, chemical spills, those kind of things. Yeah. This plant really is very forgiving and helps us a tremendous amount.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, anything else you want to tell us about your work, or about how you see the future working with hemp?
With our work, like I said, my primary focus is definitely within this hemp longhouse community, because it would be the first of many. So for those who have an interest in that kind of work, please feel free to contact us. You can contact me personally. You can contact the organization. If you go to info at hermanyvoices.org, that is a great way to get a hold of us. Mm-hmm. Hermanyvoices.org, period, for the website. Take a view, see what we're doing at this point, and who we are collaborating with, because there are international hemp organizations that we are working with at this point.
Right. So you're really, your focus is mainly on hemp.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. At this point, we've weaved it into everything that we do. Mm-hmm. Whether we're working with children now, you know, or working with adults who have been doing other kind of constructions, we've partnered with people who have been in the bamboo industry as well as people who have worked traditionally in the concrete cement industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes for a transitional product as well.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we'll look at a cement or concrete business and go, oh, well, you know, that's bad for the environment. You need to do this. And like you can flip a switch.
Yeah.
It's not fair for the business people.
No.
You know? So there are ways where you get to infuse the hempcrete with concrete and other materials.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it can be over a period of time. And,
Yeah.
you know, eventually we can all get to a place of a lot more sustainability and a lot more gentleness on this planet and each other.
Yeah. We're actually building our first hemp house in Iceland. I think there are two being built at the moment. One on the west side, and one that the Hemp Association is building with some architects. So it's gonna be great to see that come to life, and it's gonna inspire a lot of people.
I will guarantee it will inspire. You know, like I said, the moment I got my hands literally in this, and helping to build a structure, that made all the difference. You know, the plant can speak to you if you're open to that, but then you really have an appreciation for all that it can do.
Yeah.
You know, from everything from those outside walls to your insulation to your flooring, you name it, you can use hemp. As a matter of fact, we do CBD products out of Colorado and in New York.
Is that the name of it?
No, so it's Her Many Voices, and then we have our CBD product
you
line.
do
from
your
it,
okay.
And so with the product line, we partner with Pure Hemp Technology. They're in Fort Lupton, Colorado.
Right.
And Ed Laberger, who is the founder, the owner, he's been in business for about 27 years now. And you can do everything from oil with them to plastic frisbees, you know, because it's a hemp plastic. It's a bioplastic.
Yeah.
So the company looks at how many different ways can you create product.
Right.
And it seems almost endless. You know, you always hear, I hear anything from, there are 25,000 to 50,000 uses.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that there is an end to the number.
I don't think there is an end, actually. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming to our podcast and explaining about Her Many Voices and about what you do. If there's something you want to say to the Icelandic people, now's your chance.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you again, Siggy, for this invite. It's a wonderful treat. I think this is my 6th or 7th visit to Iceland. I really enjoy coming here. I would share with you our core value at Her Many Voices is whatever I do for another, I do for myself. Just remind yourselves each day of how connected we are to each other as well as all of the environment.
Right.
The rivers, the rocks, the trees.
Right. I love that. Whatever you do to others, you do to yourself.
Yes, and that's the flip side too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the 4 others and then there's the 2 others.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Alicia, and good luck in Amsterdam.
Thank you very much.